Thank you. Buenos dias. Is there such a thing as a non-believing or atheist clergyman or pastor or priest? And the answer is yes. And in fact, there are lots of them. And I have just completed, with an assistant, a wonderful researcher, interviewing at great length and completely confidentially 6 non-believing preachers. These are 5 men and a woman. They represent 6 different Christian denominations. No Catholics, not yet. But we know there are priests out there who are in the same really terrible predicament of these 6 people. These are people who went to seminary after school with wonderful hearts, going to give their life to God, going to do wonderful good things, and they got in seminary, and they read about how the Bible was created by fallible people and what a political process it was. And they learned things they never learned in Sunday school. And some of them just walked away. Some of them walked away angry. They were the lucky ones. The ones who stayed made accommodations, and they had plenty of help learning from their professors how to make these accommodations. And they got ordained, and they got their church, and they got their pulpit. And they've learned how to talk to the congregation, which is not the way they talk to their professors. They have been initiated into a sort of conspiracy of silence. And for some of them, it eats into their souls terribly. Some of them figure out how to accept this, how to live with this. But they're all of them deeply troubled, and they can't get out. Carol Tavris yesterday talked about how hard it is for people to admit they're wrong. Well, when you've devoted 5 or 10 years to a church, preaching from the pulpit and say, I'm sorry, I don't believe anymore, it's extraordinarily difficult. It can ruin your life. When I considered the plight of these people, I got a new insight into what theology has been. I think for several thousand years, as the Stone Age religions have become domesticated, there have always been smart people, really smart people, reflective people, and they knew what they were supposed to say and what they were supposed to believe, and they just couldn't quite get their heads around this. So they very dutifully tried to figure out some way that they could accommodate their own intellectual integrity, their own intellectual honesty, with what they were told by their society they were obliged to profess. And being very clever people, they invented a lot of very clever theology. This was something they could say to themselves and almost believe it. And they could say it to the congregation, and it went down like sugar with the congregation. But times change, and science develops, and we learn more and more about the natural world. And so theology keeps having to reinvent itself to accommodate the new knowledge we have. And so we've seen the God of the Old Testament has gradually been revised and revised and revised and revised till we get to a position, as Robert Wright was just saying, what kind of a God does he believe in, if any? Well, not really any. Is he an atheist? No. The fact is that we now have such a plethora, such a bounty of different God concepts, all of them pretty much inconsistent with each other. And who knows which one you believe in? Those of you who raised your hands and said you're for religion, I wonder how many of you are like the pastors that we've just interviewed. You think religion is a wonderful thing, and you think you know what you're supposed to believe, but you've probably not given it all that much thought yet. Which God, which of the 5,000 different gods do you believe in? I dare say you don't know. but you think it's very important to say that you believe in God. Because, as we've heard, if you don't believe in God, and if the people in the world don't believe in God, then there won't be any right or wrong. And it will be just a chaos here on earth. Nonsense. That is the biggest lie that is spread by religions of all. That you can't be good without God. Of course you can be good without God. The meaning that we, using the minds that we have, that have evolved naturally over millions of years, and now we've added, as Robert Wright said, we've added cultural evolution, we've added science. If we together put our heads together, the morality that we come up with will be the morality that we should obey, because we have chosen it. We have figured out this is the best morality to have. So we don't need religion for morality or for meaning of life.